So this here is the Insta360 camera that I'm going to be attempting to get 360 degree views from. So this right guy right here is the mount. Alright, I need this nice and snug. Alright, there we go. There's my camera, clear out here in front of me. Alright, now we're going to roll on out. Curious to see if the movement of that camera slows down a little bit. I'm sitting as tight as I can get it around my waist. So today what I'd like to talk about is riding a motorcycle. So I'm on the 390 Duke and I get lots of questions from people, both when I'm riding the adventure bike. I got a big KTM 1190 Adventure R, and then especially when I'm riding the Duke though. People are like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to ride a motorcycle, I just don't know how, the whole clutch and brake thing, like it scares me, like I don't know what to do. So I'm going to do just a little bit of a quick tutorial on what exactly to do. So right now I'm sitting on the bike is in neutral, as you can see it's not going anywhere. The first thing you're going to do is grab clutch. You're going to put it down into first gear. 1 down and 5 up is the way the transmission works on most modern motorcycles. It's 1 down and 4 up on most of the older motorcycles that were only 5 speeds. And then when you go to shift gears, you're going to grab the clutch, you're going to roll off the throttle just a little bit. So you're going to have the throttle on, you're throttling through whatever gear you're in, you want to change the gear, let off the gas a little bit, and then you use the clutch. Let me show you again how that works. The key is you want to pull in nice and quick, and then you're going to let out nice and slow. You got to think of it like a light switch. Like the throttle, the clutch, if you just let the clutch out, pop! It's like a light switch going boom, flipping straight on. You got 100% power to the light bulb or to the motor as soon as you let the clutch out. Now, if you treat the clutch like a dimmer switch, then you can moderate, is that the right word? You can actually modify the amount of power that's being put down to the motor. For example, if I were to have the throttle twisted like this and let the clutch out, just boom, this thing would just loop itself and it'd be a really big mess. Now, that would be like turning on the light switch. Now, I can have that same throttle all the way open, and then if I let this clutch out nice and slow, then it's like the lights starting out dim and going brighter and brighter and brighter as that switch is turned, or in this case, as the throttle is turned. So really simply, that's pretty much how you do it. When you shift gears, you roll off the gas, pull in the clutch, and then moderate the clutch out nice and slow as you're putting gas on. Because it depends on how fast you want to go. If you're going to be drag racing this thing, well then, as soon as you get that clutch all the way released, then you're going to go ahead and have that throttle pretty much pinned wide open. But typical riding like this, again, it's going to be down. You're going to do the same thing. If you leave your throttle in this constant position and pull the clutch into downshift, the engine's going to rev like this. That was not a good example because we're not going anywhere. And there really wasn't any throttle being opened. So coming to a stop, you're going to pull the clutch in. You're going to use your brakes. You're going to downshift until you come to first gear once again. Now throttle, ease out the clutch, then you're going to shift into first gear, or second gear I should say. You're then going to shift into second gear and then third gear. It really is, once you get the fundamentals down, it really is a simple operation. Clutch out slowly while turning the gas on. Make our way onto the freeway here. The amount of wind force being put on this camera is actually pretty strong. I'm actually surprised. It was hanging down in front of me position, but now it is sticking up like a very happy male device. So this device over here is a little throttle lock. It's super convenient. So for example, adjusting your camera on the highway, you simply just put this throttle lock down in place. Now with two hands, you can adjust your camera. Super convenient. Now cruising on the highway, people are like, oh my gosh, riding on the freeway is so dangerous. But look at it. I mean, cruising on the highway is as safe as it can possibly get. Especially if you ride over here in the fast lane. There's no way it's going to attack you here from the left-hand side. You really need to pay attention to your rearview mirror, make sure nobody's creeping up on you. And then you just have to pay attention to what's happening in front of you and over here on the right-hand side. I mean, this is really infinitely safer than riding on the city streets where every single intersection you have cars coming at you from every direction. I mean, that's pretty scary, actually. So when I first started riding motorcycles back when I was, well, on the street when I was 15 years old, I was talking to a CHP friend of mine who lived down the street and went to church with me. And he said, you know what, when you start out riding a motorcycle, what I want you to do, I want you to think like every single vehicle out on the road is out to get you. Like, it's like Frogger. It's like you're the frog and you're out there and you need to be scanning and looking at every single vehicle. You're looking at that guy through his mirror. You're looking through that guy through the window. You're watching, if you can see his arm come through and touch the steering wheel through the mirror, you're looking at that. You're looking at all of these details and points just to see what all of these cars are doing. Because a lot of times, it's not what you're doing on your vehicle that makes the difference. It's avoiding what somebody else is doing in their vehicle that will keep you from getting into an accident. So Motorcycle 101, when you're riding down the road, if you don't pull in your clutch when you let off the throttle, the bike is going to do what they call engine braking. And it's going to be a sudden decrease in speed, which is just what happened right there. So this Insta360 1X has image stabilization built into it. So the camera itself moving a little bit should be nice and smooth. It's called flow state stabilization. It is what they use from Insta360. Now I'm curious to see just how much camera movement that flow state accounts for. So for example, right now I'm doing my best to hold the camera still, but it is definitely moving around still, more so than I would like. But if I let go of it, it bounces around significantly more. I'm curious to see the difference in the flow state from a more stable camera mount versus one that's moving around quite a bit, such as the movement that you're seeing right here in the camera. Now, lane sharing or lane splitting can be one of the more difficult things or more dangerous things while riding a motorcycle. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Now what happens is you're going to want to slow down. You're going to want to wait until traffic is nice and slow before you lane split. So right now we're looking at 38 miles an hour. I'd say anything less than 40 miles an hour is doable depending on the conditions of the traffic. So right now, see, these cars are pretty much lined up side by side. That is a very safe way, or that is when it is the safest, I should say, to be able to lane share. This guy sees a car in front of him, a car beside him, and a car behind him. He's honestly not going to look at his mirror and be like, oh, look, I can fit in there and go. Now the problem, or when it becomes dangerous, is when there are large gaps in traffic, such as this one right over here. That car in front, looking at the gap over here on the right, oftentimes would be like, oh sweet, there's a gap here, and that lane over there, that third lane, is moving a lot faster than this lane, and they'll just boom, without even looking behind them, zip across. And in that zip across motion is when motorcycles get taken out. So if there is large gaps like this, I do not recommend ever splitting lanes or lane sharing, as we like to call it here in California. Oh, there's a bakery right around here, and they cook some amazing smelling things. Right now, it smells either like cinnamon or pecan pie, maybe? At least that's the smell that I'm getting. It's probably not pecan pie. It's probably closer to cinnamon rolls or something like that. But man, it smells so good. And And that's part of riding a motorcycle that you just don't get in the car. When you're in the car, you got your AC on, the air is filtered, and you just don't get senses like that. For example, the field over here lays manure down twice a year. I think it's chicken manure, and it smells so horrible. In the car, you don't really smell it. But on the bike, you get to a certain smell, you're like, oh, it kicks you in the face. It's like, man, that's stinky. But those very few stinky opportunities, we have a blinking blue light up there on the camera. I don't know what that means. That must mean we're getting close to that camera running out of space, which is no good. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. Thank you for tuning in to this 360 video where we're doing a little bit of motorcycle riding discussion. I'm Kyle Bradshaw. If you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up. If you want more acts like this coming directly to your inbox, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Until next time, and as always, take care and ride safe out there.